There wasn't very much cosplay. Yeah, no, of course, yeah. Yeah, I mean, once we finish,
And now, building the future of sport, your moderator, Liz Loza.
Hello, E3. How's Wednesday? Joining me for an exciting conversation about gaming, sports, where they intersect, and the growth of 5G are Chad OchoCinco and his cousin. They both just got back from the family reunion. VoyBoy. All right, Chad. All right, so Chad, if I may call you Chad.
yeah, Chad, Ocho.
Ocho, what? Okay. Let's start with you. I think you should be credited with being not just one of the first professional athletes, but one of the first elite professional athletes.
I like that.
Yeah. 6 Pro Bowls, something. Who brought gaming to the masses, right? Like, you really engaged bringing the sports community, the gaming community together, but why'd you do it? What was so exciting about gaming for you?
I mean, for me, that was my peace of mind. That was something that I needed to get away from the strenuous stress that came with the game of football at the time. And so most people find value in the relationships and that being their peace. And for me, it was always gaming, because no matter what, something about being in that space just relaxed me and just made me feel at ease. Even when I'm losing. It just
Losing in games or losing on the field?
Losing in games.
Okay.
Yeah, games. It's just that's that peace, and that's the only thing that really mattered to me at that time.
Well, you talked about relationships, but that's also part of what you were doing with your following.
Yeah.
You're building a relationship with them through gaming.
Right.
So how is that special?
It's really special for the fact that if it wasn't for gaming, I wouldn't have been able to meet some great people. Especially in the gaming community now. What I've been able to do is not only meet them, but like, if it wasn't for gaming and technology in general, I would never be able to be on a panel like this, or meet VoyBoy, or just be a part of the FIFA gaming community as big as I am now, and it's been really dope.
So it obviously comes from a really authentic place.
I've been doing this for a very long time. I think I started on Atari with Cuba. That goes so far. That goes so far back, and for me, gaming is extremely huge, and if it wasn't for football, I think I'd be much better at it, because football took up too much of my time.
Do you think that you've improved as a gamer since you retired from the NFL?
Yeah, I'm the best FIFA player in the world.
What about Colin?
Wait,
what about some of the other
Did you
games?
laugh? Because if you want to lose, let me know. That goes for you guys up there too.
All right, so, you talk about, obviously you're an incredible competitor,
Yeah.
right? You like to compete and celebrate in a real way. It's very contagious. So how do you funnel that passion, whether you're doing it on the football field, on the soccer pitch, on the game? Is there, do you have an approach? Do you prepare a certain way?
No, I just put in countless hours.
Oh yeah?
Countless hours. Like a
Doing
lot
what?
of hours just playing.
Reps.
Just playing continuously over and over, trying to understand the mechanics of every game and abuse it as much as possible.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to talk to you a little bit, VoyBoy. Don't feel so left out over there.
No, I'm good. I'm enjoying listening. I'm learning a lot.
You are a self-proclaimed OG of the League Pros from back in the day, so obviously you've been in this game for a while. Give me the origin story.
So yeah, I started playing games when I was a kid. My dad bought me a Super Nintendo, started messing around with Mario and Mega Man stuff when I was just a baby. And then when I got older, I started playing online games. I love the idea of connecting with people around the world and competing and just being able to, prove that I'm one of the best at whatever game I was playing. And it started with different, massive multiplayer online games, and then, when I was in high school, when I was a junior, I found this game called League of Legends, and I had no idea what it was about. I never played Dota or anything like that. I downloaded it off just like some forum post or something like that, and then I started playing it, got really good at the game, started beating people, and I just love that thrill. It really drives me. I actually started playing chess competitively when I was a youngster. I played it all throughout my life, so I'd go to tournaments and stuff, like state championships, all that. And so playing online games like kind of was my next evolution of that competitive passion and drive, and League of Legends was the perfect outlet for me to really follow that through and see what I could do. And yeah, I was just playing League on the side, in high school, studying after homework, and before I had to go to bed, and I would just go in there on the online world, on the Rift, and beat people from all around the world. And it was just such a great feeling to.
You're just humbly saying that, just beat people from all around the world.
I mean, yeah, I mean, no shame. I was and one of the best, and it's a great feeling to just be able to prove that in a virtual, environment and against people that are giving it their all. And yeah, it's one of the greatest passions, and super grateful to have that.
So what I find so interesting is that we are sitting next to one of the best wide receivers of his time, maybe still, and one of the best gamers, and you're both talking about competition, right? And the reps necessary to take, and how the passion. If you can talk more about that thrill and how there's obvious crossover between athletics, sports, and the virtual gaming world.
Well, to be good at anything that you do, even for those that are out here, you have to understand you have to put in countless hours of work. It's no different than me playing football and wanting to be, before you said I was elite, but before I was elite, what did I have to do? I had to put in the work and consistently understand what's my niche and what was going to make me special before I even got to that stage of being just that, which is elite. And the same thing for me, it comes into gaming and me wanting to understand every dynamic and every mechanic of whatever game it is that I'm playing. For me, that game just happened to be FIFA. And so me trying to abuse as much as possible without cheating, and understanding it and just being the best. The game is, and another thing that I don't want to throw this out there. A lot of people say that gaming it's not a sport. This is actually a sport. So when you take football, the game of football it's a mental game. You take away the physicality of it, it's a mental game because that's all it is. Everybody's fast, everybody's strong. So how do you beat the person across from you? The same as gaming, it's a mental game. It's a chess match.
Well, so often football is referred to as contact chess, and you just said you started playing chess. And so can you talk a little bit about how strategy plays in to what you guys do?
Yeah, I think Chad hit the nail on the head. Especially for online games and esports and competitive gaming and stuff like that, it's all about the brain, the mind. Yes, there are hand-eye coordination. You have to be quick with the mouse, quick with the keyboard. There's mechanics, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it does all at every level kind of boil down to strategy and planning and execution and all that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into being a great athlete and also a great esports competitive gamer. So I think there are definitely parallels to be made, and with what I was saying, like when I was trying to become one of the best League players, I tried to learn everything I could about the game. I studied it from every angle, learned every mechanic, every champion, every item, every build, thought about stuff that other people weren't thinking about, trying to come up with new strategies and just break the meta and go to that next level so I could get an edge on the other people that were competing to be the best. And it does work, and it's a big part of how you can find that next level of success.
When you think about it, when you think about the NFL, it's the best of the best around the world. Everybody's good week to week, even though some teams get a bad rap, it's still the NFL, And so, like, take for instance, say the Browns had an 0-16 season, but if you match them up against anybody else, they would probably lose outside of the NFL criteria on what makes you an NFL player. The same thing for me goes with gaming. When I'm playing, when you play with the elite players, everybody's good, so there's really no room for error. So how do you minimize error and counter whatever his weaknesses are? And there's only one way to do that: through repetition, just doing it over
and knowing
and
your
over.
opponent, it sounds like.
But it's hard to know your opponent when you've never played him before.
say.
So what do you do?
Right. Well, you were talking about that a little bit in League of Legends. Like you can study people's playing style and maybe prepare for that.
Yeah, you can. You can study replays. You can study people's personal streams, see basically everything they're doing, everything they're thinking about, all their mouse movements and stuff like that. And actually, recently, like 2 weeks ago, Riot introduced something called ProView, which basically lets you watch the professional LCS matches, the highest level competition, and you can literally see what they're doing on their computer from their perspective during every professional match. So that's a huge resource for, you know, up and comers or just anyone trying to get better at the game and learn to just literally see what this person is doing on a micro level, and then they can learn from that and try to incorporate it into their own play, which is pretty fascinating because that just introduces a whole next layer of, you know, improvement and learning and coachability and stuff like that, which I think there's a lot of awesome things that are going to come from
So you're
it.
both studying the playbook, you're both researching, you're both grinding tape, you're both taking reps, and while you're doing all this, the space is exploding and crossing over. So I want to know, what have both of you noticed in terms of a shift or a change? Like, what are the new things that you're noticing? You mentioned this thing that Riot is doing. What are some other ways the gaming space has changed since you have grown up in it?
Yeah, so I mean, when I was a kid in high school and I was playing League or playing games online, it was definitely considered kind of like, you know, a waste of time. Like, did you finish all your other stuff? Why? Okay, that's good, but why are you playing games? Like, you should be, you know, doing more extracurriculars. You should be studying. You should be taking extra classes, stuff like that. And now, not to say that, you know, every time spent playing games is considered, you know, productive, because obviously it's not, but a lot more people understand the fact that the gaming space has exploded, esports is